Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and this is going to be an interesting video because we are going to reveal to you guys our collective agreed upon top 10 quarterback rankings for the 2020 season.
Not specifically agreed upon.
Well, generally agreed upon.
Generally agreed
So our
upon.
collective top 10 QBs for the upcoming 2020 season. We're going to fly through these guys. Let's get started.
Yeah, we didn't want to do a top 10 for each of us, so we kind of, like we said, collectively we created one, so these are not our exact ones.
We didn't want to do a top 10 for each of us because they know I would talk too much.
Yeah.
That is definitely one of the reasons.
Some things that would get
so we don't all agree with these exactly, but I think we all had these basic top 10 quarterbacks except for Ryan.
Still generally, I have quite a lot, even the ones there.
Yeah, not all.
Right, yeah.
But let's get started at number 10. We're going to start with, right?
Sure.
All right, let's start with number 10.
Yeah.
That is Matthew Stafford. We do believe that Matthew Stafford, as a quarterback alone, regardless of his team, is capable of being a top 10 quarterback. We put him in here because we think that. It sucks because his team has been so bad recently, but this list is based on pure quarterback talent, not the team around him. You guys can add on about him.
Yeah, real quick with Stafford, I think that he has definitely been underappreciated at times, especially because of the fact he spent his whole career with Detroit. They certainly have not been exactly elite the past few years and really for a while, so he's kind of been overshadowed. And there's times where you see a throw from Stafford and it's really good, and you're like, wow, if Mahomes or Wilson made that throw, it would have gotten a lot more attention, which is a fair point, but I still think Stafford is at least somewhat finally starting to get the recognition he deserves.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Stafford. I think I'm one of those guys that are really high on Stafford. I know Ryan says you're either very high on Stafford or he's underrated
or he's overrated.
I have him underrated. I'm really high on Matthew Stafford.
Gotta find a balance.
Quite honestly, I can't decide how this Detroit Lions team is going to be this year because I think in our deep dive video I said
6-10 or 4-12.
I don't remember what it was. I said they're having a bad record, but yet I'm still high on this team. I'm as high on Matthew Stafford, and of course, you heard other videos, the wide receivers as well. Stats from last year, Stafford only played in 8 games, had the injury. Ended up with basically 2,500 yards, 2,499 to the exact, that 1 yard. Huge difference, 19 touchdowns, only 5 picks. And again, he played in 8 games, was out against the Bears his first game, and then never came back. So those are some stats from Mr. Stafford. I like him. Let's move on to number 9.
Yeah, number 9, another kind of underrated guy that you kind of forget about when you're talking about top 10 quarterbacks. That is Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons.
Insert 28-3 joke here.
Yeah, so you guys can start talking about him.
Well, I'd just like to say, first of all, that the other day I was out playing some disc golf with one of my friends, and I saw a falcon in the tree. And so naturally, I took a video and said 28-3.
That'll be stuck with him forever. And Kyle Shanahan, who's not even with the Falcons anymore.
Yeah, he's blowing other leads and other Super Bowls now.
Yeah. So I had to send that to them. So just wanted to point that out since Ryan made the joke. But anyways, Matt Ryan's stats last year ended up with 4,466 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Had him on a fantasy team last year, so of course I'm biased towards him. Did throw a decent amount of picks. I would have liked to see less from him. But still, he is a great quarterback. He's got some great people around him. And I think that even though this Falcons team has not lived up to the hype, I think they still have a chance to come back. Every year there seems to be a hype train behind the Falcons. And who knows, maybe this one will actually be real. But let's be honest, it probably won't. I hope it is, because I like the Falcons.
I don't know. They've let us down a lot. They're always supposed to be, 11-5 in the mix in that division, and they always let us down. So Matt Ryan's good though, and he deserves to be on this list. But that team as a whole, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's so strange to think about that. But Matt Ryan, as a singular person, we believe that he deserves to be on here. He's number 9. Let's go to number 8, staying in that same division. We're going with Drew Brees. Some of you might be saying thank you for putting Drew Brees lower because he's starting to decline, and some of you might be like, Drew Brees is a top 3 quarterback, like what are you doing? And we're going to explain ourselves here. We're all differentiating on where Brees was on this list. He rounded out to about 8 in terms of all 3 of our top 10s, but for me, I personally have to say I like Drew Brees as a quarterback. He is declining though, and I think the offense around him in New Orleans is kind of deceiving us to think he's a better quarterback than he is. Put another team, take him as a singular person. He's not as good as these 7 guys we got in front of him.
Go ahead.
And Tyler, I could back you up on that. This is one of the rare times on this channel that I'm not going to be biased. If you watch the channel, you know how much I love Drew Brees. I think that Drew Brees is not only one of the best quarterbacks ever to play this game, but one of the best players to ever play this game. The record book shows it. The stats show it. He's a great person altogether. But like Tyler said, I do believe that as he's getting older, he's not playing as well. He can still make some great passes. He's still a phenomenal quarterback. That's why we have him at, where are we at, 8?
He's at 8, yeah.
So that's why we have him where he is. I love Drew Brees. I hope he shows that he's higher than this. I hope they go on to win the Super Bowl because, let's be honest, the Saints really need it at this point. Yeah. I think they really deserve
They've
it.
been close.
Just stats for him last year. Ended up playing in, started 11 games. Ended up with 2,979 yards, 27 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. So he was very good on the interceptions last year. Or very, very bad. Good on
good at limiting them.
Good at limiting them.
Yeah, well said.
Any defense for Drew Brees, Ryan? You had him higher than me.
I had him a few spots higher. I just think he's got one big run left in the tank.
All right.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
Yeah, that would be cool to see the Saints go to the Super Bowl. Number 7 now. We are going to a different division with Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. He's got a whole offense around him, but himself as a player, young and talented in all aspects of his body. It's very exciting to see what he's able to do. Going to be able to do. And last year, he deserved to get paid. He got the 1-year contract. He's got to go out and prove it again. And I think he's going to be able to do that. Jordan, I don't know if you have stats or anything, or Ryan, one of you two, continue on the thought of why we have him at 7.
Yeah, so stats for Dak Prescott last year, played all 16 games, ended up with 4,902 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. And my thing with Dak Prescott is I think Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback. He's rightfully at the number, I think we're at 7. Position right now. That's why he's on this list at 7. But the thing is that he has such great wide receivers, has a great running back, has a great line around him. It's so hard to just judge him for himself. Now, he's a great quarterback. Like I said, that's why we have him here. But I can't try to put him much higher because of the people around him. I actually had him a bit lower on my personal list, but I think it was just by 1 spot. So Dak Prescott, it's hard to judge him by himself, but I think he is a phenomenal quarterback. Drafted late too, so yeah, well done for him.
When Dak is
like
good,
5th round. You know
I think it was something like that.
Could be wrong.
He was a late round pick, and
let's look it up.
When he is good, he is good. That's all I'm gonna say. He has had some.
What a quote!
Well, he has had some really.
When
really
he is
big
good,
runs.
he is good.
Oh, 4th round.
But when he is bad, he
can
is
get
bad.
a little shaky. But I think if he's playing his best football, he absolutely could be a top 10 quarterback for sure.
And I think he'll play some good football this year.
I do
with
too.
People around him.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's move on to this next quarterback. At number 6, we have, again, the same division as number 7 in Carson Wentz. We made a video talking about these 2 guys, talking about who's better. We have some disagreement on the table in terms of that. But me and Jordan thought Wentz was just a bit better. That's why he's 1 spot in front of Prescott. The injuries have been a bit of an issue, but I think the athleticism and his accuracy is taking away from that. And last year, I mean, the injury he had in the playoffs was really not his fault. He just kind of got rammed. There's nothing he could do about that. So I think the future for Carson Wentz is brighter, and heading into the 2021 season, I really like the direction he's going. He's got a better wide receiver core. That's not what we're talking about in this video, but still.
Yeah, Wentz, he's flashed potential. If he can put together a full season where he stays healthy and plays at his highest level, and it's not just like little 3-4 game stretches, he could absolutely be a top 5 quarterback if he puts it all together. I just haven't quite seen it yet, but he's got time.
Yeah, and the thing with Carson Wentz, like Tyler said, it's another hard one to judge because his receivers have not been that good. His only consistent receiver really has been Zach Ertz, who's not even really a receiver. He's a tight end, although he can play the receiver role very well. But it's a hard one to judge because you don't really see him throwing to guys like Dak Prescott gets to throw to. I like what I've seen from Carson Wentz. I hope he can stay healthy. I had him on my fantasy team last year, so I obviously like him. Stats for him, as I always do. Sorry, I don't have him pulled up. There. 4,039 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, started all 16 games. Not bad stats from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I mean,
and had a baby.
He got pretty good stats.
Yeah,
so,
he did. Yeah, congrats.
Congrats to
him.
him.
A bit ago, but he did.
Yeah, but I was happy to see that, and especially for a good guy who Carson Wentz is.
To see. Tyler did a project on him, actually.
I did, actually. I wonder if I could find that somewhere. But at number 5, we're going to get back to football, talking about that. Lamar Jackson is at number 5, an interesting one, especially for this table, because I'm just going to say it. Not even all of us have him in our top 10.
Yeah, but do remember, these rankings are for 2020 only. They're not based on last year. They're based on solely this year.
Going into the 2021 season, that's what these are based on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start, and then let Ryan be the devil.
Can I read the stats first, and you can go?
Yeah.
Because I don't have much else to say besides the stats. I just want to listen to this. So 2019, passing yards. Wait, that's not right.
For Joe Schobert?
No, I'm not on Joe Schobert. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. Okay, passing yards, 3,127. No, that's not right either. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong spot. That makes sense. Here it is. 3,127 passing yards, which is what I said before, but also 36 touchdowns, which is a lot, and only 6 interceptions. So very good from Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And then also rushing, you had to mention that with Lamar Jackson. Sorry, I took it away from you if you were about to go. But rushing, he ended up with 1,206 yards on the ground, the best rushing yards by a quarterback ever. Passing Mike Vick in that stat this year, and 7 touchdowns on the ground as well.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short. I'm just a lot more concerned and a lot lower on Lamar as far as his future is concerned. I give props to him for what he did last year. That was incredible. Deserved that MVP, but I just anticipate a significant decline that most won't see coming. But, regardless of that, I'm not going to get too much in depth on that topic here, mainly because that's not really...
We made videos about it.
We made videos about it. I was just going to get to that. Ravens Deep Dive. Go check that out. AFC North predictions. Maybe I talk a ton about him and that Ravens team in there. So if you want to hear my full reason on why I said what I just did, go check those out.
Yeah, and then lastly, I just want to add that Jackson, I don't know how long he's going to last in the NFL, but I do like what he has going on next year. I think there's still time. He's going to still be a top 5 quarterback, but not going to be the MVP level we saw.
Yeah, he won MVP last year, so it's kind of hard to doubt him unless your name is Ryan. Even I doubt him a little bit. I think he'll definitely have a decline. I don't think he's going to win MVP again, but that's just kind of my thoughts on Lamar. I actually had him higher on my personal list. I had him at 3, and I don't even like Lamar Jackson that much.
All right, let's go to number 4. We are slowly approaching number 3, but we got to get to 4 first. We have a quarterback for one of our favorite teams. Yeah. It's Ryan's favorite team.
I like this one.
The quarterback of the Texans, Deshaun Watson, at number 4. Very exciting to see him there. Huge stud coming in the NFL a couple years ago. Got hurt in his rookie year out of Clemson. Yes, I mean literally everything is there. Just all aspects of the game, you look at it, he's able to scramble, he can get out of the pocket, he has good vision, he can drop the ball into his receiver's hands nicely, he can throw the ball hard. I mean, there's so many positives to look at Deshaun Watson. He's so awesome to watch and really fun. If you're watching a Texans game, that's really the only thing that's making them relevant at this point.
Yeah, and he's a young stud that can grow into a really talented player in this NFL. Yeah. Stats last year, 3,852 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions played in 15 regular season games.
Ryan, talk about your quarterback.
Yeah, really quick. He's just such a fun player to watch. I do think that he does get hit around a little too much. Takes a lot of sacks with that offensive line that is not great, but I still think he's got all the talent in the world. He can make throws you need him to make. He's got that clutch gene in the NFL, and he had it in college. Really excited for this year for Deshaun Watson. I think he should be around 3 or 4 on this list, and that's where he is.
Yep. Also, one more interesting stat: 413 on the ground for Watson, and also 7 touchdowns, which is what Lamar had. So
especially near the goal line, they used him a lot with rushing.
All right, number 3. This is probably the one that you're more on the edge of your seat for because 1 and 2 are kind of obvious in our opinions. I think we all agreed on that. But number 3, we have Aaron Rodgers. And to me, to start it off, you look at the Packers' year last year, and you say, why were they so good? Their team wasn't even that good. Look at their quarterback. If they don't have Aaron Rodgers, what were they, 11-5 last year?
They were like 13-3.
Oh, they were 13-3. That's right. I forgot. They were even better than I remember.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way.
You don't think that team was that good, but Aaron Rodgers is the reason why they were so good. He really led that team. I mean, they had
with
pieces
a new
around,
head coach.
Anyways, but that's the type of things he can do. He's able to lead a football team in such a strong way.
The reason that team was good is because of better defense, because of Aaron Rodgers, because of Aaron Jones, and because of Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it's on Aaron Rodgers.
A lot of it is.
I love Aaron Jones. I think Devontae Adams is a great receiver, but yes, a lot of it is, of course, on
when
Aaron
your team
Rodgers,
doesn't get receivers for you, it has to be on you.
Yes.
Yeah,
and he's still in that position this year. And I don't think that's going to matter. That's not going to take away from his talent.
I mean, he obviously cares, but
he really cares.
And I'm a Bears fan. I'm not supposed to like Aaron Rodgers, but I respect the heck out of him.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
I respect people.
Good player.
That's why I respect Tom Brady too, and I like Tom Brady.
You got any stats for him?
I do have stats, of course. 4,002 yards last year in the air, 26 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. Some great stats from Aaron Rodgers last year. Just then again, touchdowns not as high because receivers aren't always there. Devontae Adams really is the main guy, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do this year with the people he has around him.
All right.
Well said.
Let's go to number 2 now. Like I said, not as anticipating, or you guys are probably not as anticipating this as much, but we have Russell Wilson at number 2. We'll try and keep these last 2 quick because they just have such skill. Russell Wilson, I haven't talked about this many times on this channel. I have high hopes for the Seahawks this year.
You think you have high hopes for him, man?
I'm saying for the Seahawks in general.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Jordan has him at a certain, getting a certain award this year. I don't know if we're going to give that away, if Jordan's going to or not.
It's the MVP award.
Yeah,
Basically,
MVP.
They already knew. Like,
Yes.
if they had any problem solving things in their head, then they could have figured it out.
Wilson's very similar to Watson in the way of he can do everything.
Yeah.
Rodgers, I mean, not as much.
Sometimes bails out his
move
defense.
as much, but Wilson can literally do everything all the time. If the Seahawks put their full faith in him, their team would be so good. And I don't know why they just don't. They wait to the fourth quarter to do it. That's all I'm going to say because I've talked about Wilson a lot on this channel.
Yeah, 4,110 yards last year, 31 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Very, very good stats from Russell Wilson. Played in all 16 games. And the throws that this dude makes are absolutely insane. You'll see, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's some like stats thing on commercials and stuff. Like shows you the stats of like how the percentages of how a play could work. And half of those, I've said this before, half of those are Russell Wilson throws because he just makes so many low percentage throws. He's such a great quarterback and deserving of this 2 rank.
Yep. Bails out his defense a lot. He's got that clutch gene, got that experience. Excited for Russell Wilson in 2020 and beyond.
All right.
And then number 1 is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I mean, that's not much of a surprise to you.
It shouldn't
be much of a surprise.
But the players clearly think otherwise.
He's going to make over $500 million in the next 10 years of his career.
He owns another sports team.
And he deserves it. You can honestly say he's underpaid with that. I mean, that's how good he is.
In theory, if he does what he's supposed to do.
I don't see him slowing down, and he was a guy that 2 years ago stopped Russell Wilson from winning the MVP, and then Lamar last year stopped him. So Russell Wilson has been right there at number 2 for the MVP. But Mahomes, even though he hasn't been in the NFL as long, I think has more of a chance to win the MVP, and that's why he's my number 1 quarterback, and I think all of our number 1 quarterback heading into next year.
Yeah, if you don't have Mahomes at number 1, what are you doing? Okay, I just had to say that.
Put in the comments if you get that reference.
Yeah, I wonder.
We are very much like you if you do, because we are big fans of this series.
Yeah.
Anyways, got to read off my stats, so one more from Mahomes. 13 and a half games, basically played, started in 14 games, got injured in one of them. 4,031 yards in the air, 26 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Some great stats for Patrick Mahomes, and he'll do better than those stats this year, as long as he can stay on the field for 16-plus games come playoff time.
All right, so there it is, our top 10 quarterbacks. Let us know what you guys think. You probably won't agree with us on all 10 of these.
Including playoffs.
No way.
I don't know if I said that right.
But
I think it is.
let us know. That's what we love to hear, to see, I should say, these comments
so
down
looking
below.
forward to see what they say.
Make sure you like this video if you agreed with our predictions or just liked us as a channel.
Yeah.
Make sure to hit the notification bell and
didn't,
subscribe to our
it's
channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you did,
Put in the
if you
comments.
liked us as well. I think I said it all.
Please
So with
like us
that, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.